Pleasing and for Butler County, our Keith M. Spade presiding is now back in session.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The jury is returned. Counsel and defendant are present. Ms. Kenner is being returned to the courtroom. And upon her arrival, we can begin cross-examination.
Yes.
Very well. Mr. Shaboni, you may cross-examine the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Kinner.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Kinner, may I call you Rebekah?
Yes.
Rebekah, my name is Frank Shaboni. I represent Bradley Young. Okay?
Yes.
And I want to ask you some questions. All right?
Okay.
Rebekah, do you know how important this is?
Yes.
And Rebekah, I'm going to ask, are you going to answer my questions truthfully?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
Because you've not always done that in the past, have you?
No.
You've already told the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that you lied on at least 4 occasions, 5 occasions during the testimony you just gave.
Yes.
And I believe you said you did that to protect Brad. Is that true?
Yes.
The line is over now?
Yes.
Now, you were talked to by the police on Radabaugh Road at approximately 6:30 in the morning when the EMTs were there working on your dog, right?
Yes.
And then you went to the sheriff's department and you were interrogated there by Detective Whitlock.
Yes.
Correct? And you testified, excuse me, and back at the scene, when you were talking to the police at the scene, you did not tell them the truth.
No.
And when you discussed this case with Detective Whitlock, you did not tell the truth.
No.
And when you went to the grand jury and testified, you did not tell the truth.
Yes, I did.
Did you also say things that were not true?
No.
Everything you told the grand jury was true.
Everything that I told the grand jury is what I've seen him do to my daughter.
Well, listen to my question, please. Is everything you told the grand jury true?
Yes.
Then you appeared in court in front of Judge Spade, correct?
Yes.
Did you tell him the truth when you spoke to him at your sentencing?
Yes.
Everything was true that you told him, correct?
Yes.
And then you also were examined by a psychologist, and did you tell him the truth
Yes.
about everything?
Yes.
And then you did a pre-sentence investigation report with the probation department, is that true?
Yes.
Did you tell them the truth?
Yes.
Completely the truth?
Yes.
You talked to your family several times while you were in the Butler County Jail, isn't that true?
Yes.
Did you tell them the truth?
Part of it.
Part of it?
Yeah.
The first day you were in the Butler County Jail, you spoke to your father on the telephone, isn't that true?
Yeah.
And was that before or after you were interviewed?
After.
After you were interviewed?
Yeah.
Did you recall about what time it was?
No.
Did you know it was after?
Yeah.
And the detectives took you to a telephone to call home?
Yes.
Did you have to pay for that call?
No.
When you called, do you recall the conversation that you had?
Yes.
Were you telling, when you were talking to your father, did you tell him the truth?
No.
You lied to your dad?
Yes.
What did you lie to your dad about?
He asked me what was going on. I said I didn't know.
How many times did he ask you that?
I don't know.
Judge, I would like to play a portion of that conversation to refresh your recollection.
Your Honor, we may approve.
Counsel approved. Ladies and gentlemen, if you engage in unrelated conversation and not focus on our conversation, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, but every day has been that way. I don't see Larry's, nobody appeared to be here. Did you bring your water out? No. I see the problem. I got both these microphones down here. You want the water?
Yes.
You may begin.
Thank you.
Continue.
Rebekah, you recall the telephone call that you made home?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And you recall talking to your dad?
Yes.
And I believe you said that you did not recall how many times your dad asked you what happened.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
No.
Do you recall that you told him that he, first of all, do you recall this? Your father saying, I want to know what the hell went on. That's what I want to know. Do you recall him saying that?
Yes.
And do you recall what your answer was?
No.
Do you recall him saying, what the hell did he do to her?
Yes.
Do you recall what you said?
That I don't know.
Do you recall him saying, excuse me, do you recall what else you said to him when he
No.
asked you that?
No.
Do you recall your father saying, I want to know what the F he did to her?
Yes, I recall that.
Do you recall what you said to him?
No, I don't know what I said about.
Do you recall your dad saying, somebody knows what the hell happened to Rebekah? Someone knows what the hell happened to Rebekah. Do you remember what you said?
Told him that I didn't know.
Do you recall your dad saying, so what the hell went on, Rebekah? Do you recall what you said to him?
No.
Do you recall him saying, to your grandfather saying, on the same call, she could have brought that baby here? And your dad then saying, you could have brought that baby to anybody?
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall what you said?
No.
Do you recall your father saying, we deserve to know what the hell happened? Do you recall what you said?
No.
Do you recall your father saying, nobody knows nothing? She just woke up, bruised, and knots all over her head. Do you recall what you said?
I don't know.
Do you recall your father saying, after the 1 minute warning on the phone call, you've got 1 minute? Do you recall him saying that?
Yes.
Do you know what he meant by that?
I had 1 minute to tell him what happened.
All right. And what did you say in response to that?
Again, I told him I didn't know.
Do you recall saying more than that?
No.
Do you recall saying, I'm not saying that, Dad. I'm trying to figure it out. They're telling me that she was abused, and I want to know the story. Do you recall saying that?
Yes.
Now, you didn't recall several of the parts of this conversation. Would it help you to hear the conversation, to remember it?
No.
It wouldn't help you remember?
No.
You heard it? Plenty?
Yes, it would help me if I heard it.
Okay. You're under like permission to play.
Your Honor, we may approach on that.
You may approach.
Ms. Kinner, do you recall a grand jury hearing a copy of that telephone call being played?
No.
Do you recall during that telephone call on December 2nd, right after you were interviewed, you had already talked to Detective Whitlock, correct?
Yes.
And you had already told him a version of what your testimony was today, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And you had talked to the detective for hours, correct?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it went over a 2-day period, is that true?
Yes.
And during that interview, you asked about your baby, is that correct?
Yes.
And you said you wanted to go to the hospital to see your baby, didn't you?
Yes.
Did the police officer let you see your baby?
Yes.
When?
After I was done being questioned?
2 days later, wasn't it?
No.
You were questioned on Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
You were questioned on Thursday, correct?
Yes.
And then you were taken to the hospital about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, isn't that true?
I don't know what time it was or what day it was, but I know they took me to see my daughter.
It was the same day that you gave the second day of interview with Detective Whitlock, wasn't it? You told the detective about any type of violence. Was it an hour? Was it 2 hours?
About 2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Now, when you talked to your dad, you had already been through this whole interview process, correct?
Yes.
And you had told the detectives everything that they pretty much wanted you to say. Isn't that true?
They didn't want me to say anything. I told them what I saw.
And the detectives didn't tell you anything about the case?
No.
They didn't tell you about injuries to the child?
No.
They didn't tell you that you were going to be charged with murder unless you talked and told them what he did to your baby?
No.
The detective physically took your chair and turned it to face him, did he not?
Yes.
And he grabbed your hands, didn't he?
Yes.
And he grabbed you around the throat, didn't he?
No.
He didn't do that?
No.
Maybe approach, Judge. You win.
Has this been marked?
No, Judge. We will be able to,
Is it part of an exhibit?
we will be able to mark the flash drive, Judge, with all the videos and with all the telephone calls.
Your Honor, if I may approach on this, I just want to make sure that we're clear on what we're using.
Yes. Please approach so we can make a good, clear record of what it is.
Yes. B1. B1. B is in here. 1 is her speaker. B1, 2, that's what we're seeing. 3 discs. B1, this clip is from B1. This note is B1. Which one?
Step 14. Is bring forth understanding of the
It would be worse.
Be what Kinsley.
Make it bigger. Sorry.
Well, this morning, while you were waiting for me to show up,
We just talked to the cops and asked them if... We talked to the cops
Look at me.
and...
this is over. All right, now look at me. Nobody's gonna scream and yell at you. And accidents happen every day. Look at me, idiot. Listen to me. The injuries that have happened to your baby, something's happened several times to her. She's been struck, or she's been hit, or someone has taken her head and hit something. All right? Things always aren't intentional. Okay? Look at me. You gotta look at me, huh?
You're telling me
Listen to me.
that my daughter has been struck.
Hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm telling you, the two stories that you guys are telling are far apart. They're not consistent. They're far apart. You guys have talked about what you're supposed to say, all right? You have. But this is over. You got to start thinking of your baby. You've got to think of your baby. Now, either A, you had an accident with her and something happened and it was you, or B, it was your boyfriend. But accidents happen, hon. You've got to tell us what happened. Because listen to me, your baby's not doing real well right now.
I knew she
All right. Well, listen. But listen. Whatever happened to her was not an accident. It didn't happen in a car.
But then what's wrong with her?
You need to tell me what he's told you what happened to her. Because you know what, listen to me, he has. He absolutely has. And if he hasn't, I can assure you that you're behind this. Either you or your friend has done something to your daughter.
I haven't done anything to my baby.
Then how do you guys come up with these two stories that aren't even, they don't match up?
I'm telling you what I know.
Then tell me what happened to your baby, hon.
I'm telling you.
Tell me what happened to your baby.
I'm telling you, we got in the car wreck Saturday.
Okay, listen to me.
She
The car wreck is not what caused this.
Then I don't know what did.
What if I told you that she has blood on her birth? Do you think that could happen from that car wreck you were in? Absolutely not. No, listen to me.
Yes. All right, that's fine. Oh, there's more. Now, is there more video going to be played? Mr. Simone? Yes, sir. All right, let's proceed.
B13, please.
You gotta start thinking. You gotta start thinking of your baby. You've got to think of your baby. Now, either A, you had an accident with her and something happened and it was you, or B, it was your boyfriend. But accidents happen, hon. You've got to tell us what happened. Because listen to me, your baby's not doing real well right now.
I knew she
All right, well, listen, but listen, whatever happened to her was not an accident. It didn't happen in a car.
What's wrong with her?
You need to tell me what he's told you what happened to her. Because you know what, listen to me, he has. He absolutely has. And if he hasn't, I can assure you that you're behind this. Either you or your friend has done something to your daughter.
I haven't done anything to my baby.
Then how do you guys come up with these two stories that aren't even, they don't match up?
I'm telling you what I know.
Then tell me what happened to your baby.
I'm telling you.
Tell me what happened to your baby.
I'm telling you, we got in the car wreck Saturday.
Okay, listen to me. The car wreck is not what caused this.
Then I don't know what did.
What if I told you that she has blood on her brain? Do you think that could happen from that car wreck you were in? Absolutely not. No, listen to me. What if I told you she has a contusion behind her ear? Do you believe that could happen from that car wreck? Okay. What if I told you she has bruising up underneath her neck area?
Did you have an opportunity to see that clip right there?
Yes.
Now, I asked you specifically, the officer told you about the injuries to your baby, and you said no. Correct?
Yes.
And I asked you specifically if the officer put his hands on your hands, and you said,
No.
and I asked you specifically if that officer put his hand around your throat, and you said,
No.
now, Rebekah, you told me you were going to tell the truth.
I didn't recall him doing that.
Then why didn't you say you didn't recall? You said no.
Because I didn't recall that it happened.
You don't remember him putting his hand around your throat?
No.
You don't remember him telling you that your baby had blood in her brain?
No.
You don't remember him telling you that the baby had a bruise behind its ear when he grabbed your ear?
No.
You don't remember any of that?
No.
Let me ask you something. And I don't mean to embarrass you. Are you on medication right now?
No.
Are you taking any medications at all?
Yes.
Okay. What medications are you taking?
I'm taking Lamictal and Prozac.
I heard the Prozac. What's the first one?
Lamictal,
I'm sorry.
Lamictal,
Lamictal?
Lamictal,
Lamictal.
mhm,
And what is Lamictal for?
bipolar disorder,
All right. And what's the Prozac for?
depression and anxiety.
You've been diagnosed with those conditions?
Yes.
Does that make it difficult for you to remember?
No.
This was a pretty important day in your life, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was real important in talking to the officers, to tell the officers the truth.
Yes.
And you weren't telling the officers the truth.
No.
Or were you telling the officers the truth when you said you didn't know?
No. I was still lying
You were
to
still lying.
protect him.
Now, you recall when you were sentenced, you stood in front of Judge Spade, didn't you?
Yes.
Right in this courtroom, didn't you?
Yes.
And you stood at the podium that I'm standing at right now, didn't you?
Yes.
And you looked at Judge Spade before he sentenced you. And do you recall what you told the judge?
No. All I remember of what I told the judge is that if I could take my daughter's place, I would.
That's all you remember saying to the judge?
Yes.
Let me show you a transcript of what you said to the judge, okay?
Mhm.
Then we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Did you read that?
Yes.
All right. Does that refresh your recollection as to what, ma'am? To what you said in front of Judge Spade the day you were sentenced?
Yes.
Now, you didn't just say what your testimony was. You actually told the judge.
Objection.
What did you tell the judge?
Based on what?
I'll
Or you
rephrase
want
it.
to wait? Or you withdraw?
I'll rephrase.
You'll rephrase it.
Yes, either one. Do you recall saying to the judge, I did love my daughter. I know a lot of people have said that I allowed this to happen. I watched him do it. I didn't do anything. And that's not true.
Yes, I remember saying that.
You told this judge that.
Yes.
Was that the truth? Or was that a lie?
It's the truth.
You didn't see anything. You told this judge you didn't see anything.
I didn't see him do anything to her the night before she passed.
Well, that was Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
Yes.
And you told the jury that he beat her before you went to your grandma's, shook her over his head when you got back. And you told this judge that you didn't see anything. Correct?
The morning that he brought Kinsley into the room, I did not see him do anything to her that would have prevented her from waking up and talking to me.
Rebekah, you testified on direct that you saw Bradley with his fist, punched your little daughter in the back of the head 2 or 3 times before you went to your grandmother's house.
Yes.
You told this jury you saw that.
Yes.
And then you told the jury that you saw him punch your daughter in the back of the head 2 or 3 times with his fist when you returned from your grandmother's house. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Now you're saying you didn't see anything.
Objection.
Overruled.
That's a lie,
Objection.
Overruled.
isn't it?
Yes.
Rebekah, I asked you at the beginning if you were going to tell the truth. Can you remember what your answer was?
Yes.
What was your answer?
Yes.
And you haven't yet told the truth, have you?
Yes, I have.
Rebekah, you just admitted to lying.
That I watched him hurt my daughter, that
Yes.
I seen what he did. How is shaking a child over your head, how does pulling down her diaper and spanking her butt, how does that not constitute for standing there and watching him hurt my daughter? I seen what he did to my daughter.
Then
And
why
what
did
he did is abuse. He knew what he was doing. And you can't stand there and say that he didn't, because he sure the hell did.
Then why did you stand in front of Judge Faith and tell him that you did not see anything?
Because I didn't see anything when they were laying on the couch before he brought her into me. I didn't see what he done to her.
You saw him in your testimony. You swore to tell the truth, and you said you saw him thumping her in her head with the end of his fist on 2 occasions that night, on Tuesday night.
Yes.
You told the jury that.
Yes.
And now you're saying you didn't see anything.
When he was laying on the couch with her and I was in the bedroom, what he done to her on the couch while I was asleep, I do not know, before he brought her into the room, and that's what I'm referring to.
And why are you saying that? Are you saying that he did something to her on the couch?
He had to have.
Who told you that?
Nobody told me that. Who goes to sleep, a toddler, just perfectly fine, and then she stops breathing?
Rebekah, she woke up twice on Tuesday night. She woke up at 1 in the morning, correct? You told the grand jury.
Yeah.
And then she woke up again at about 3, correct?
I don't remember what time.
She woke up in the middle of the night the second time, and that's when you folks went out to the couch.
Yes.
She was in distress, wasn't she?
Yes.
That was before you claimed you went back to the bedroom. She was already in it, wasn't she?
No. She was just fine. She was talking, she was watching cartoons, she was loving on people.
She was shaking.
She was not.
Excuse me, that's a question. She was shaking in the middle of the night. And that's what you told Brad. And what did you do because she was shaking that night? Tuesday night. In the middle of the night going into Wednesday morning. What did you do because she was shaking?
Because who was shaking?
Your baby. You told the police, you told the grand jury, you told every official that you talked to that you saw your baby shaking in the middle of the night. Don't you remember that?
No.
Rebekah, I don't want to get intense with you. I really don't. But I'm going to ask you again. You're going to tell the truth.
And I don't want to lie. I don't recall.
Do you remember Brad turning the heater on?
No.
Do you remember telling the police that Brad turned the heater on at about 3 in the morning to warm the baby?
No.
Do you remember telling the grand jury that you did that?
No.
When you got back from the laundromat on Tuesday, I'm going to suggest it was probably about 5:30,
Yeah.
6 o'clock maybe. the latest?
Yeah.
And you went to the laundromat to wash clothes, right?
Yes.
And you set the timer on the wash, right?
Yes.
For how many minutes?
45.
45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went back and came home, everything was fine.
Yes.
And then you went back to the laundromat, correct?
Yes.
And you put the clothes in the dryer.
Yes.
And how much time did you put on the dryer?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. And then you came back,
Yes.
and you testified on direct when you came back, excuse me, before that. You don't remember all the things that the officer said and did to you during your interview, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember 37 minutes on the washer and 40 minutes on the dryer? You remember that now?
Yes.
But you don't remember anything that you saw in that clip?
No. And the reasons why I remember those times on the washer and dryer is because we've been to that same laundromat several times.
And you've only lost your daughter once.
Yes.
Now, you're claiming today that Brad struck your child in the back of the head 2 or 3 times
Yes.
before going to your grandmother's house, correct?
Yes.
If you don't mind, would you show the jury how hard he struck your child in the back of the head?
Yeah. He hit her like this.
And at that point in time, that was the first time he'd ever struck her with a fist, correct?
Yes.
This was the only time. According to your testimony today, before and after you went to Grandma's, it was three shots to the head with the side of his fist, correct?
Yes.
Now, that's the first time you have ever told anybody that version of the story, that it was before and after you went to your grandmother's. Is that true?
No.
Rebekah, you told the police that it happened before you went to your grandmother's house. You told the grand jury it happened after you got back. And you just told this jury it happened before and after. Now to tell the truth. Which is the truth?
He hit my daughter in the back of the head. I know that. And it was before and after we went to my grandma's.
You said child in the back of her head.
No.
Do you recall that he told you it had to be a fist?
No.
And that's when you changed your story to a fist. Do you recall that?
No.
Your Honor, I'd like to play a video clip. D24, please.
I've never seen him. I've never seen him hit her in the face. If I did, I would have.
You told so many lies, I don't even know what the fuck to believe out of you.
I'm telling you the truth. Why would he? I don't understand why he would even
How many times did he shake her? How many times did he shake her? When he's holding her up over his head, how many times does he shake her? How many times have you seen that?
2 or 3 times.
Was that all on Tuesday, yesterday?
Yes.
So go ahead. Is he mad? Is he under control? Is he pissed off? Is he clenching his jaw?
He's not like pissed off like where he wants to go and hit walls or hurt anybody. He's yelling at her, but he's not screaming at the top of his lungs. And then until she started screaming, and when she started screaming, that made him pissed off.
Then what did he do? What did he do when she started screaming?
When she started screaming, she got hit in the mouth for screaming.
How hard did he hit her?
He hit her really hard, about 3 or 4 times.
With his fist? Don't lie. Do not lie to me.
I'm not lying to you.
Did he hit her with his fist?
I don't know.
You do know. Did he hit her with his fist? You've seen it. Did he hit her with his fist?
She got hit, yes.
Then why can't you say that? Why are you protecting him?
Because I don't want to believe it.
You stood there and watched it and you let it happen. And you're going to tell me that you watched him punch her in the head? And I'm sitting there telling you he's responsible for the death of your daughter and you keep wanting to protect him? Why? Help me understand why you want to protect him.
I don't.
He killed your daughter in front of your face.
I don't want to protect him.
Then stop the bullshit.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
He said this, didn't he?
Yes.
That was the first time that word was used, wasn't it?
Yes.
And he told you Brad Young killed your baby, didn't he?
Yes.
You didn't tell him Brad Young killed your baby, did you?
No.
Rebekah, you gotta start telling the truth. Can you do that?
Yes.
What are you hiding from?
I'm not hiding from anything.
You said on that clip, were you telling the truth right then to the officer, or was that a lie? Or because he was confused, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You heard it say, not one lie after another. What part of that was true of your words?
That I saw him hit her.
In the mouth, 3 or 4 times hard, right?
Yes.
That's not true, is it?
Yes, it is.
Rebekah, have you seen any of the pictures of your child after she was taken from the house?
No. Well, I saw the picture of her on life support,
Right. That's it, right?
and I saw some of the pictures of some of her injuries.
And did the police show you them?
Yes.
Did you see her mouth?
Yes.
Did you notice anything unusual about her mouth?
Besides, she had the impetigo, but
You see anything else unusual?
no.
And how hard did he hit Kinsley in the mouth?
You want me to show you?
Show.
Okay. He smacked her like this. A little bit harder than that.
Show me. Show the jury.
He smacked her like this.
Right in the mouth.
Yes.
3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Rebekah, your child, her lips were fine.
Objection.
Her lips were fine. They were not bleeding. The doctors testified that her mouth was fine.
Objection. May we approach? Thank you. Well, there's going to be an objection. You're going to. You're very welcome. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're instructed to disregard counsel's characterization of the deceased lips as being, quote, fine.
Thank you, Mark. Rebekah, the doctors that have testified that your child had impetigo right in the center of her upper lip. You agree?
Yes.
And it was scab.
Yes.
But typically, Kinsley would take the scab off, right?
Yes.
Did you ever take the scab off for her?
No.
And when Brad struck your baby in the face 3 or 4 times, what damage was done to your child?
She cried, that was it. Yeah.
No blood.
No.
And he hit her right in the mouth, right?
Yes.
3 or 4 times, right?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes.
Did she fall down?
No.
Did she break a tooth?
No.
Did her lip even get split just a little bit?
No.
Did you leave a handprint?
No.
You told the police, and we heard it on the clip, that if he ever hit my baby in the face, I would have done what? Because you were interrupted. What would you have done?
I did nothing is the thing.
I know that. And that's because Bradley Young never slapped your baby in the face.
Yes, he did.
Fine. Then why did you tell the police that if Bradley were to ever hit your child in the face, you would have reacted to that and protected your child? I assume that's what you were going to say, correct?
Yes.
When in fact, he did hit your child in the face. So you lied again, didn't you?
Yes,
Didn't you?
I did.
Why?
Because I wanted, the whole time I lied, I wanted to protect Brad. I didn't want to believe that my daughter was on life support. I didn't want to believe that anything bad had happened to her and that she was going to die.
You saw them carry your baby out of the house, didn't you?
Yes.
When Brad was doing CPR on that baby, you were outside smoking a cigarette, right?
No. I was outside, standing at the back porch where I could see him and Kinsley waiting on the ambulance.
You weren't down on your knees praying to God that your daughter would live. She wasn't breathing. And
Yes.
you weren't doing that?
Yes, I was.
Well, now wait. Let's do it again. While Bradley Young was trying to save your daughter's life, you were outside, correct?
Yes.
You were not on your knees next to your baby, were you?
No.
Bradley was, wasn't he?
Yes.
And Bradley was breathing air into her mouth, wasn't he?
Yes.
He put his lips over that baby's mouth, impetigo and all, and he was blowing breaths, trying to keep her alive, wasn't he?
Yes.
And you were outside directing traffic, right?
Yes.
Couldn't bear to see it, could you?
No.
Do you remember what Brad said while he was doing the CPR? Did you hear him say, "Come on, sis"? Did you hear him say that?
No.
You didn't hear him say that?
No.
Well, the 911 call was played yesterday. On that 911 call, he said, "Come on, sis." And you're saying you didn't hear him say that.
No.
Is that because you were out in the yard, too far away?
I don't know.
And he called Kinsley sis.
Yeah.
And he said, come on, sis. You're trying to bring her back, wasn't you?
Yeah.
And what were you doing?
I was waiting on the ambulance.
The ambulance was going to come. They had the address, right?
Yes.
Who else was in the house?
Chuck?
Chuck Diesbach,
Yes.
the owner of the house.
Yes.
What was he doing?
I went and woke him up.
What was he doing?
He was sleeping.
All right. And you went in and you woke him up. What did you say to him?
Kinsley's not breathing.
All right. And what did he do?
He went in there and helped do CPR.
Help do CPR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You say anything?
Not to me, he didn't.
Did he say something to Brad?
I don't know if he said anything to Brad.
All right. Now, you told the police that Chuck came out of his bedroom into the kitchen and said, what the hell did you do, Brad? You told the police that, didn't you?
No.
You told the grand jury that, didn't you?
No.
What did you tell that to?
I didn't tell that to nobody. What I told them was that Chuck come out of the bedroom into the kitchen to do CPR with Brad.
You told the authorities that Chuck came out on his own and said, what the hell did you do, Brad?
No.
Do I have to get the transcript out and refresh your recollection, or can you do that on your own?
You'll have to get it out.
Okay, I will. Rebekah, you met with Brad in the jail, correct?
Yes.
The officers took you in to see him,
Yes.
correct? And when you went in to see him, you had already been talked to for hours by the police, isn't that true?
Yes.
And we saw part of it. The detective was in your face pretty good, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that went on for a long time, didn't it?
Yes.
So the detective said, I can't tell you what to say, right?
Yes.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, right?
Yes.
You said, I know what to say, right?
Yes.
You wanted to see Brad, didn't you?
Yes.
Why?
Because I wanted to ask him if it was true,
If what was true?
if my daughter was hurt because of him.
Rebekah, you just spent 2 hours telling the jury what happened. Why did you need to go see Brad to find out what happened? You had already told the police after hours of being screamed at that he hit her in the back of the head. Why did you need to check with Brad to find out what he did?
Because I've always checked with Brad before I did anything.
Oh, Rebekah, let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it. The control issue, is that what we're going to talk about now?
Sure.
Power and control?
Sure.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
All right, you wrote a paper in high school, right?
Yep.
And the topic of that paper was?
Child abuse.
All right. And also domestic abuse? Or just child abuse?
Just child abuse.
Okay. So, you felt controlled by Brad, correct?
I was controlled by Brad.
You were controlled by Brad. Okay. Let me show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit E1.
You then, or I'd just like to take a look at that. Take a look at that.
Once you do this, if you don't mind, give that back to me, and find E1 in here.
All right. You have E1 in front of you?
Yes.
What is E1?
It's a calendar.
All right. Now, taking a look at that calendar, you see August there?
Yes.
Now, you and Brad had your first Facebook conversation on August 21st, correct?
Yes.
All right. And he then left and went to Michigan, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you didn't see him officially until he got back from Michigan in September, September the 4th, isn't that correct?
I don't remember.
Well, it was Labor Day weekend. Does that help?
No, I don't know exactly what day I seen him.
All right, but it was a big day, right? It was the first time you guys had ever met,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You went to high school together.
Yeah.
But you didn't really know each other in high school, right?
No.
So essentially, Brad was a stranger,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and you were a stranger to him.
Yes.
So on August 21st, you guys start talking. Pretty heavy, right?
Yes.
And on about August 28th, August 29th, you offered him oral sex, didn't you?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Take a look at Defendant's Double F, if you would. See that?
All I see is F.
All right, we'll keep going. After Z, the numbers start, the letters start doubling up. After Susan's chair.
You may.
Okay. I got it.
You have it?
Yeah.
See that? Now, do you notice there that you started talking to him on August the 21st at 9:31 p.m.?
Yes.
Now, does that refresh your recollection as to when you began your Facebook time with him?
Yes.
All right. And then you folks continued your conversation till into the night, didn't you?
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, you, within an hour and a half, talked to him about the fact that you got a dog. Isn't that true? Take a look at August 21st at 11:01 p.m. Brad asked you, you've got a little girl.
Yes.
And you said, ha ha, yeah. She'll be 2, October 2nd. See that?
Yes.
All right. And that was because he saw a picture of you and your daughter on Facebook, right?
Yes.
And then he continued on and said, that's awesome. I've wanted a kid for the past year. Just no good, loyal girls out there. And if there are, they're hiding. Laugh out loud. See that?
Yes.
So he didn't ask you whether you had kids. You knew because you had it posted on Facebook, right?
Yes.
And then your conversation went on into the night, and finally you guys called it off for a night. But, on August the 21st, that same conversation, at 11:46 p.m., do you see what Brad said to you there?
On what day?
August 21st,
Okay.
at 11:46 p.m.
Okay.
What did Brad tell you there?
Well, definitely not a factory, far from it, LOL, and I hate it out there, believe me, but I can't turn down $90,000 a year, honestly.
All right, now, do you recall being in front of the grand jury?
Yes.
And you recall raising your right hand and taking the oath?
Yes.
And you told this jury that you told the truth, the grand jury, right?
Yes.
Every question, right?
Yes.
Do you remember when Mr. Moser asked you if you knew what his rate of pay was?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you said?
I don't know.
Do you recall Mr. Moser asking you this question? What was his rate of pay? Do you know? Do you remember what your answer was?
No.
See it, Counsel? Pardon me? I didn't know if you wanted to see it. I'm giving you a courtesy.
I'm the one who asked the question.
Take a look. See where Mr. Moser asked the question?
Yeah.
Read the question, please.
What was his rate of pay, do you know?
What'd you say?
I couldn't tell you. No, I didn't know.
And what was his next question?
Do you know what his hourly rate was?
And you said?
No.
And what was the next comment?
And the question was, never discussed that with him, and I said no.
That's a lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just told this jury that you went in front of the grand jury of Butler County with the county prosecutor, and you told the truth on every question.
The last thing that was on my mind was his little $90,000 a year. That was the last thing that was on my mind.
Well, let's do this. Let's have the first thing on your mind being tell the truth, okay? Because you didn't tell the truth to the grand jury, did you?
Yes, I did.
Rebekah? You told Mr. Moser and you told the grand jury that you had no idea and had never discussed with him how much money he made. And in your first conversation with him, you found out he made $90,000 a year. Why are you lying?
Because at the time I testified, I did not recall that.
But you said you had never discussed it. And you did.
Objection. It's argumentative, Your Honor.
All right, now, I asked you a question about offering immoral sex within a week and never even meeting him, just strictly on Facebook, and you said that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And is that still your answer, didn't happen?
Yeah.
All right, take a look at double F. Go to August 29th. See August 28th, 7 days later. Take a look at 10:18 p.m.
Okay.
You see what you said to Brad there at 10:18 p.m.?
Yes.
Go ahead and read that.
All right, babe. A girl I work with saw your picture today and said, Becca, he is out of town for a week. When he gets home, you need to suck his dick. Haha, she's ridiculous.
And then in 1027, and what did Brad say to that?
Laughed my ass off. Do what? Why did she say that?
And then you answered him?
She said you was cute and a blowjob a day keeps the hose away. LOL.
So you brought up oral sex, didn't you?
Yes,
And you just told this jury that you didn't.
but I didn't offer to give it to him.
Well, let's keep going. What'd you say about 3 minutes later at 10:43?
Okay. Every woman needs to give their boyfriend head. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I would have showered with you if I was there, whatever. If you're honest, loyal, and willing to have sex at least 3 to 4 times a day and be ready for random blowjobs, I will be happy.
With a smile face, right?
Yes.
So you did offer him that. You offered him sex 3 to 4 times a day and random BJs, right?
Yes.
Rebecca, you lied again. Why?
I don't recall any of these Facebook messages. At all.
Are you saying someone else sent these messages? In your name?
No, I'm saying that I don't remember having these conversations. This has been almost a year ago. I'm not going to remember every message I sent out.
But you're not disputing that you sent these messages to Brad.
No.
And you're not disputing that the first moment he got home, you guys got it on.
No.
Judge, may we approach?
You may. Quarter till 5, ladies and gentlemen. We're either going to have to take a break. Well, we're going to have to take a break sooner or later. So we made a decision. We're going to wait. We're going to take our break and come back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So during the course of our separation, do not discuss this case among yourselves. Do not permit anyone to discuss it with you or in your presence. Do not form or express any opinions on this case. Remember all of the admonitions in our long talk that we had, I guess that was Monday afternoon. Don't forget to leave your juror badges on your chairs along with your notepads. You're ordered to return tomorrow morning. We'll get started at 9, so I think Mr. Laguna would instruct you to be here at what, 10 till?
Yes, Your Honor.
10 till. And we'll work all day tomorrow. I don't think we'll be finished with this case this week. So you can plan your affairs. I anticipate that we'll come back Monday morning at 9 o'clock. keep working. So, any logistical questions, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Good. I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All rise to excuse the jury. Stand. Deputy, would you come forward? Did you have a conversation with Ms. Kidder when she was on the witness stand? There was something showing on the screen.
I did not have a conversation with her.
Well, state your name for the record, if you would.
Deputy Amy.
All right. Did you tell her something, Deputy Meek?
Yes, I did.
And what did you tell the witness?
I told her if she was looking at the defendant to not look at him.
So you don't know what she was looking at, whether she was looking at the screen or looking at the defendant. You, like I, could only see the back of her head.
Correct.
So you have no reason to speculate that she was looking at the defendant.
No.
Any questions for Deputy Meek?
Just simply, why did you feel you had to say something to her at all?
The gentleman in the blue got my attention and said that she is looking at him.
Okay.
I could not see if she was. I saw the back of her head.
Thank you, Deputy.
So, would you mind identifying, do you know, Frank, the gentleman in blue?
Yes.
Could you identify who the
Member of my
deputy
staff.
is referring to?
Member of my staff, Your Honor.
All right. Does anybody feel a need to put Deputy Meek under oath to have her testify to this?
We do not.
All right.
I would ask the court for an instruction of her, toward her, and any other deputy in this courtroom, that any contact between witnesses would be at the direction of His Honor and from no other person in this courtroom. That's what I would ask. And I would also ask the identity of the person in the blue shirt. I need the name for the record.
Of course, Dennis Chabot.
Very good. And that's all. Thank you.
Very well. Well, I think that's fair comment. And you just started, you're young, so here you are, getting put on the spot. And this is your prisoner, and out in the hallway, she's your prisoner. But unless she tries to escape, you're not to have contact with her or converse with her unless I instruct you. Fair enough?
Fair.
All right. Now, is there anything else we
Yes,
need to
sir.
put on the record in this regard?
One more issue, and I understand, of course, that Mr. Moser and I had occasion to discuss this very matter on a prior day. We would like to be assured that this young lady will not be interviewed by police before our cross-examination begins tomorrow.
Well, how would you like me to assure you of that? Because I'm going to instruct her as I've instructed her before that she's not discussed the case.
I think an order to the lead detective in the case would be appropriate. I know he'll follow the court orders.
Well, we've already had an order for separation of witnesses, right?
That's fine, Judge.
And so I think to give a separate order or instruction to a particular detective, I think is almost an insult.
Well, no, I didn't intend it to be. Just that he's the lead detective, and he can spread the word among the staff that stay away from her. She's under oath. She's in the middle of testifying. That's the only reason I said it. If there was somebody else sitting there who said the same thing, he was the star of the clip. I understand that. But the fact is, I'm not picking on the detective.
Yeah, you are.
No,
For sure you are.
where you going to come?
Hey, there's no jury here. We in this world, we have some.
A little glimpse for the gallery of the fun we've been having here at the bench.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Kidder, as I instructed you before. I don't care who initiates it. It doesn't matter. It does not matter who initiates it. You are not to discuss this case with anyone or allow anyone to discuss it with you during the course of our break. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is there anything else for Ms. Kenner before she's excused from the evening?
Nothing but a state, thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing but his best, Judge. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Kenner, you'll be returned out. I couldn't help but notice when you first arrived, Ms. Kenner, did you just take a medication when you first got here this afternoon?
No.
Do you take an oral dose of medication each day?
Yeah.
What time do you take that?
Before bed.
I'm sorry, Judge, didn't hear.
She said before bed. You don't take it before you arrive or in the morning.
No.
So when you go back tonight, you anticipate that somebody in charge of the jail will give you whatever dosage you've been prescribed with these medications.
Yes.
And then you won't take any medications until tomorrow evening.
Yes.
You'll assure the court that you will not take any medications after you've received your medications this evening?
Yes.
Nothing tomorrow morning?
Nothing tomorrow morning.
Nothing tomorrow morning?
No.
Very well. Is there anything else we need to discuss with this witness before she returns tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing further.
All right. Deputy, you may kindly handcuff this young lady, take her back to the jail, and that's all I have. Council, have anything else that we need to talk about between now and when we begin tomorrow morning?
Nothing ever happened with the bench.
I think the state doesn't have anything either. I wish everyone a great evening. We'll see each other tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
In recess.